Hello, nice to see you. I hope you're doing fantastic. I am doing pretty well. I went for a walk today with my partner, which was so lovely. And it's been kind of raining off and on today, which is not great for the light in the studio, but it is very great for the garden. So I'll take it, you know. I think it's supposed to be doing this all week, which is nice. The garden's going to get a lot of water, which is good. And hopefully that also means the grass will grow for the sheep. But that's not really why we're here. We're not here to talk about gardening or the grass or sheep. We're here to talk about a sketchbook tour. I just finished this little sketchbook. I really enjoyed using it. It is a moleskin sketchbook. I'm not sure if it's called a sketchbook or if it's called a drawing notebook. They just have a line of notebooks for artists. And this one was listed either as sketchbook or as drawing. I can't remember which one it was. But either way, I noticed that they have this one and they have one for watercolor. This one is the one that's not for watercolor. However, it does work really well with wet media and dry media, which is nice. I also like that it is a hardcover and that it's got this little elastic band. I wanted to call it a bungee cord just now. It is not a bungee cord, it is an elastic band. So those are some things that I like about it. It lays flat and the pages are fairly thick and it's not a super thick like this way. It's not super thick. So I was able to get through it pretty quickly, which feels really satisfying to me. If I have a sketchbook that's too big and too thick, then I'll start to get overwhelmed about halfway through it and I'll want to abandon it and then leave it for months and months or even years sometimes and then come back to it maybe. So it's nice that this one is smaller, that there's not quite as many pages. And it's also pretty small this direction. I think it's about a 5x7 size and I like that as well because I can take it with me. Overall, I would definitely get the sketchbook again. I'm not going to right now because I'm looking at them. I've got a stack of sketchbooks that I need to start and or get through. So let's go tour this bad boy. While you're here, you could go ahead and like the video. That would be fantastic. And leave a comment, even preemptively. What is your favorite sketchbook? What is your favorite media to use in your sketchbook? Or if you don't do sketchbooking, which is totally cool, what kind of things are you growing in your garden this year? Or what are you up to this time of year in April? It's currently April. Maybe you're not watching this video in April. What are you doing right now? What are you up to? Am I rambling? Is this good? Are we rambling enough? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start the tour. All right, let's. If you've been around here for a while, you know that I like to work in my sketchbooks backwards. You saw my other sketchbook tour. So I bought this sketchbook in 2021. I used a couple of pages worth and then I abandoned it until 2024. I have a bad habit of doing that. We're working on it. Usually I'll skip the first page in my sketchbook just to get over that hurdle of the first blank page. There's something that feels intimidating about that first page. I don't know why that's such a weird psychological thing, but it tends to be. So yeah, I just skip it in order to move past it. Really only page that I did in 2021, I was at a tattoo event. It was like a learning event with my shop that I was working at the time. And I was not thrilled with some of the presenters, so I kind of checked out. I bought this so that I could check out and just doodle and whatnot. So I made a chrysanthemum drawing, really quick doodle, and that's all I did. And then this is just a funny anecdote between me and my partner. I explained what a guild is to him, which is you plant like a fruit tree or a nut tree or something. You kind of do companion planting. You plant a bunch of other plants around it that will benefit it and help it grow well, essentially. And so I explained a guild to him and he responded with, okay, so you need your level 1 wizard for protection, your dwarves for structure, Knight and wood elves, obviously, a dragon to repel pests, and if it's a swale guild, you probably need a water troll for managing water, of course. He is really silly and funny, and I love him for it. So he must have texted that to me while I was at this event, and I just wrote it down so I would remember it, and it makes me smile every time I open up the sketchbook to this page. This is when I started it over again, and I just started with something really, really simple, just like scribbly, just to get started, because I kind of needed to shake off the cobwebs, so to speak. And then shortly after that, I accidentally left out one of my favorite brushes and turned it all crusty and terrible. Since then, I've learned that you can revive an old crusty brush by using Murphy's oil soap. I had a lot of fun with this page. This is just some poppies, and I was using a bunch of different things mediums that I hadn't used before or hadn't used in a while. I used to use colored pencils a whole lot, and I don't use them as much anymore. So I was just playing with that, and then I also had just gotten a Tombow brush pen, and I was trying that one out too. And I really like this page. I very much enjoy it. This is another fun one. I wanted to try wet media, so I just used my regular acrylics and nothing fancy, nothing crazy. I did a bright neon pink background and then painted some clovers, and then I used some Posca pens for the little lightning bugs. And then I had all of these extra shavings from a carpenter's pencil that I used, and I just decided to glue those down, and I really like how this page came out. I think this is a peony. So these two pages are kind of funny. So these were some sketches that I did for a commission painting, and I sent these to her, and then she let me know that she actually wanted it flipped. So I redid all of the drawings. So I flipped the orientation. I don't know why we didn't have that part of the conversation for a commission. Normally that's something that you would talk about, but I just didn't. I completely forgot about it. I guess I was feeling sad on this day. I'm not sure why. Isn't that funny how you can feel really sad, but then you just forget? And then this is the view of my studio. I just kind of scribbled some things, my coffee cup and a painting in the background, and there must have been sunflowers out that day with some yellow finches. A lot of times if I'm uninspired or I just don't know what to draw or paint, I'll just draw what's literally right in front of me. So this day it must have been my paint palette and my jar that I use for water. And then, I don't know, I'm probably aging myself by explaining this, but when I was in like middle school and high school, we would do these like drawings, or we called them signs back in the day. And usually it was just somebody's name. Or like, you see it today, it's like live, laugh, love on a piece of wood. But back in middle school and high school, millennials would draw each other's names in really pretty cursive or something, and then they would use markers or something and just draw the outline of it over and over and over again. And I was never very good at it. I wasn't a big sign maker for my friends, but I would scribble something or draw something, and then I would do the lines all the way on the outside. So this day I was just feeling kind of squirrely and like, okay, let's do that. Let's do the millennial thing and see what that feels like. And it was fun. This is a fun one. I love this page, and sometimes I think maybe I should make this into prints, but I just decided to do a regular acrylic painting like I would normally do, but do it in my sketchbook. These were some studies for some paintings I did for a show in Columbia. There's this bridge called the Gervais Street Bridge that's pretty iconic. It's really beautiful, and it's right on the river, obviously, so I just did some quick fun sketches with pencil and regular pencil and colored pencil. These were fun. I just wanted to play around with some colors and Posca pens and just kind of like whatever art supplies I had in front of me, and sort of make up some butterflies. My brother asked me a little while ago, he is also an artist. He asked me if I ever make up plants and draw them, like draw make-believe plants. And I don't typically, but I was thinking about his question when I was making these. But I don't do made-up plants, but maybe I'll do some make-believe butterflies. For this page, I wanted to use just a carpenter's pencil. A carpenter's pencil is really wide and flat. Here it is. And it makes these really big, wide marks. So I just wanted to give that a try and see. Just kind of play around with that. This is another just kind of random still life. I can't remember if this was actually something that I had in my kitchen or if I just made this up. But I just wanted to use acrylic paints and do a whole painting. These are some more commission sketches. I like to keep my commission sketches really, really loose, and just to kind of get an idea of the shapes and the composition that I want for the pieces, and maybe jot down some notes and whatnot. This one's fun. Oh, I need to spray that. I actually had just done this one, and then when I went back very recently to fill in the sketchbook, that's when I made this one. So these are not necessarily all in order, but a friend of mine posted a picture of a hawk that she saw sitting on a chain link fence, and he was just so derpy and cute. He was standing so straight and upright, and it was really adorable, so I sketched him. And I'm not like super proud of the sketch, it just looks silly and cute, and that's all I care about. And then this one was a prompt from Still Here, Still Life. They post a still life image, I think about once a week, and then they'll repost folks who draw or paint their still life. And I really enjoyed this one because it was very simple. It was a different background. I made up this background for it. So for this, I just was feeling so antsy and weird, and I just wanted to scribble something. I didn't want it to be good. I just wanted to get something out of me. And so I drew my dog. Something quick and just get something out on paper. So I'm here to tell you that your sketchbook does not all have to look beautiful and pristine. It can look totally like garbage, and that's perfectly fine. I guess this was August. I don't know what prompted these. I've been looking into and thinking about painting my door, my front door. My front doors are really ugly, in my opinion, and I've been thinking I want to paint it. And I remember. It was Chris Vardanega, Little Tiny Egg on the internet. She had painted her door a long time before this, but I saw that video and I was like, oh, that's such a fun idea. And so I got out some paints and just did some sort of design motifs and was thinking about painting my own door on my house. She painted the door of her studio, but the door of my house is really gross, so maybe I'll get around to that. I should be able to do that soon, actually. Anyways, these are just some sunflowers. It was August around this time, and the sunflowers were looking really beautiful. So I just played around with some, I think this is oil pastels and some acrylic paint. Again, just playing, nothing serious. Aw. So this one started out as just scribbles. I just very, very loosely held the pencil like this and just scribbled stuff. And then I sort of found these shapes in the scribble and decided that it was going to be a cat. And I decided to make that cat my cat Mia, who passed away around this time. And so I was feeling feelings about her passing away. She was very old, but it was still sad to lose her. And so I decided to, since it kind of came out like a cat, and I decided to turn it into Mia. And then this one is something similar. I just did a bunch of scribbles. I was just trying to be loose with it. I think I was sad again, probably because of Mia. So sometimes you just need to get your emotions out on paper, and it doesn't have to look perfect, and it doesn't have to look like it makes any sense, but it doesn't matter. This was a piece I made for an application for an event that I did not get into, which is fine. And then this is an idea I came up with that you probably saw behind me in the intro. I'm still working on that one, but this is just sort of the beginning of the ideas, putting the ideas down on paper. Yeah, these are just some quick drawings and then some thoughts behind it. I'm not gonna read them. It's a little bit of a journal sort of entry, like an artist journal sort of entry. And then these, I had just gotten these really large, pull one out, these big RNF oil sticks. It's kind of like an oil pastel, only it's big, large. So I had just got some of these and I just wanted to try them out and see what they felt like. And I really like them. I enjoy using them on my paintings, and it was fun to use them in the sketchbook. I think this is probably a pretty small space to use them. As you can see, they're really, really thick. So they're really more suited for large paintings, but it was still fun to try them out. This was some practice I did for the sunflower paintings that were back here. Oh, perfect. For these sunflower paintings, these were a gift for her in-laws, I believe, who are from China. And so she asked if I could have like the knots that they make on the side of the paintings. And so I was practicing. I looked up some images and practiced so that I could get that those shapes. So that was a lot of fun. These were sketches for another commission for somebody in my community. And then another sketch for the same commission. These are some thumbnails for just ideas that I had for paintings. Some of these I think I'm going to abandon because chickens have kind of taken over my life now, and now all I want to do is paint chickens. So I think I'm going to turn some of these that I've already sketched onto the canvases, but I'll take those and turn them into chicken paintings. This is just a quick picture I took of my cat, Bean, who you've seen here before, and she was asleep on our rug in the kitchen, and so I drew the rug and the floor and everything behind her as well. And then this was actually the rug itself, or a different rug, and I just drew sort of the shapes and the motifs that are on that rug. Oh, and it looks like Power Out Day 6 from Hurricane Helene. This was in October of last year. This is a quick sketch of my wall at Atomic. This is actually how it's supposed to be. I did not end up doing it like this. I ended up doing it differently, but I just wanted to sketch out the wall and get an idea of how I wanted to set it up. This is a sketch I did, I think in December. Yeah, I was working at market in December, and so I was just looking up some images on Pinterest just to sort of pass the time, and I had just gotten a red and blue Sharpie pen. I really like Sharpie pens, and these are them. I really like Sharpie pens, and so I got myself a red one, and a blue one, and a green one actually. This is the scene from where I was sitting. Sometimes it's fun to just draw what I'm seeing right in front of me. It was a really cool thing. It was these little kiosks. They were these little like huts, I guess, like A-frame huts. And this is like the window. So there's a door here, and you walk in, and then you raised this window, and there was a platform here for you to put stuff, and then you could hang stuff in the back and whatnot. So it was a really cool little like market village that I think they still have it up. I don't think they're doing anything with it at the moment, but it was a really cool event. This is another fun drawing from the same market. I just pulled up a bunch of images on Pinterest and drew them. So fun, I really enjoyed that red pen. This is another drawing from that same market. I did a whole bunch of drawings from the week that I was at this market, and I really enjoy them. I like the extra fat line on these nasturtium flowers. That one was fun. I think I used the Tombow brush pen for this, and then a Sharpie pen for the thinner lines. I was just playing around and having fun with it. This one you can see the Posca pen from the other side bled through a little bit, but I don't mind that because it's a sketchbook. It's not supposed to be perfect. So another page of drawings from the same market. I don't know why I didn't do this cat in the red pen. I guess I was just enjoying him in the pencil, but some pomegranates, strobes, some sort of pretty flower, and then I was playing around with some star-like things. So this one, I went to see the French Moderns exhibit at the Columbia Museum of Art in Columbia, South Carolina, and I was fascinated by a lot of the similarities that I saw between artists within the show and artists that I see today. There were some very specific techniques that I noticed in that show that I see a lot of artists using today, and some of which that I use as well, and I didn't know that it came from that time period. And it was also interesting to see there were some very specific references to one artist at the French Moderns exhibit being influenced by another one of the French Moderns artists from the same exhibit. So they were alive at the same time, and one or the other one was influenced. And I thought that was really interesting because that's it's a really tricky subject to talk about, and it's tricky being an artist and being influenced by other artists and like not wanting to, rip off their work or not wanting to copy their work, obviously, but you're still influenced by them. Like, we're influenced by everything that we see in the world all the time. And so it was just interesting to see that and be thinking about that at this particular exhibit. This is just like a study that I did from a Matisse painting that I saw at the exhibit, and then I put a stamp edge on it, which I'm into right now. And then I did a quick drawing of a guinea. I'd like to do some guinea paintings here soon, and I wanted to just do a quick little drawing of him for fun. These are some studies I did for some pieces that I made for Atomic. Just some mini originals. I think they were actually about this size. They're kind of 4x6 size, I think. I was playing around with things I already do, but I was trying out some different color combos, and I was trying out some different mark making as well. These are some other studies that I did for prints that I should have coming available here soon, since it's peony season here in South Carolina, and probably everywhere at this point. Usually it's around the end of April or the 1st of May, depending on where you are in the world, but it's peony season here, and so these are just some studies that I did for some peony prints that I have coming out. This is a page that I did. The reference photo was a photo that I took of our sheep when we first got them. We only got 3 at first, and so these are the girls that we got, and then later on we got a ram that lived with them before, and he's not pictured here. He has 1 horn. He's very sweet, but which is not normal for a ram. A lot of rams are known for being pretty aggressive, I guess. Like, they like to ram you, literally. But anyways, it's probably sheep knowledge that you didn't necessarily need to know, but these are the girls. This is Mabel and Buttercup and Victoria. And then this is the last page. I I wrote this sad journal entry when I was at that market because of just stuff that I've done in the past, being a little bit of a workaholic, and things that I promised to myself that I broke those promises. So I just was feeling some feelings and I wrote some thoughts down about it. But I don't really feel that way anymore. I think it's fine, and I'll catch my friends another time, and I'll be more careful about that in the future. And then over here, I wasn't really sure what to draw, so I drew the catnip plant that I'm propagating that's sitting on my desk. And I really like this illustration that I did. I like the painting and the sort of illustrative bit with the lines around it and the stripes and the stars. I've been really into stripes and stars lately, so that's it. That's all she wrote. Hi. You may notice that I am in a different outfit. That is because it is the next day. I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour. I really enjoyed that sketchbook. I would highly recommend it. Again, it was a Moleskine sketchbook from their art line. I think it was the drawing sketchbook. It definitely wasn't the watercolor one. It was whatever one is like made for drawing. I've really been focusing on having fun in my sketchbook and not worrying about things looking a certain way. And one thing that I like about that is it helps me to keep things fresh. It helps me to explore different mark making and different styles and see what my hand wants to do naturally and allow it to do what it wants to do naturally, rather than trying to control and keep things tight. I'm always in this battle with myself of wanting things to look more loose, but having this sort of natural inclination to want to tighten things all up. And so I'm always like at odds with myself. And keeping a sketchbook, the intention behind it, like always having in the back of my mind, this is just loose, this is just fun, this is experimentation, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a good practice for me, so maybe that would be helpful to you. Something to think about anyway. So yep, that's about it for now. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I think I said that already. That's okay. I'm gonna go do some other things. There are lots of things that I could be doing right now in the studio. I think I may have figured out my printer issue. That's neither here nor there for you. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.